I did an update on that case that's going on with the traveling Vicelords from the west side, the Wicked Town faction, a few months ago. And we got another update on that case now because another guy has now been sentenced, and this guy's name is David Arrington. So they said, quote, as a member of the Wicked Town faction of the traveling Vicelords street gang, David Arrington murdered 2 people, shot and wounded 2 others, and served as the driver when fellow gang members murdered a man and attempted to murder another. He's now 33. He pled guilty last year to a federal racketeering conspiracy charge, and they just sentenced him to 50 years in prison, and this was after a hearing on Wednesday in federal court. So this guy, he wasn't one of the ones that was like named as one of the leaders, but like I said before, anybody who's named as a leader, you gotta always take that with a grain of salt because, a lot of times there's not leaders anymore. But there's still some situations where some guy will have like an influence over like 2 or 3 guys. But the Vicelords, like I said, it's one of the gangs that still has a little bit of structure in it. One of the Finball gangs that has a little bit of structure, but you can't really call them one gang anymore. Like the traveling Vicelords, you can't really call them like one particular gang because the same thing that's happened with the GDs has kind of happened with them, which is that they split up into a lot of different sets. And you got a lot of sets now where it's like mixed different kinds of Vicelords, and they're also like mixed with Four Corner Hustlers. I had done a video on that really dangerous block over by the border of Garfield Park. And I had said that they were Vicelords, and some people were like disputing that in the comment section and saying they were Four Corner Hustlers. The police have that block listed as both. Okay, they have it listed as a mix. So I don't know, but that's what the police have that block listed as. There's like a lot of sets like that now where it's like mixed Four Corner Hustlers, Vicelords, GDs even now are mixed in with some. I think what's his name? One of those sets over by East End, I think, is mixed Four Corner Hustlers and GDs. This is something that for my generation is like still weird. You never used to see that back in the day. But you might have like guys who, on some money stuff, get along with some other guys from another gang. That used to happen. But he was among 13 defendants convicted as part of a multi-year investigation into the gang's criminal activity. So there's already a lot of, news stories on this because it's been going on for so long. The investigation resulted in the seizures of more than 45 firearms, approximately 1,000 rounds of ammunition, approximately 17 kilos of cocaine, and approximately 7 kilograms of crack cocaine. If you didn't see the video about the Vicelords, the traveling Vicelords from KO Block, and you wonder why the police go so hard against the traveling Vicelords, why there's all these RICO cases against them, why there's all these huge investigations where they book dozens of these guys, like the TVLs, it's not just your imagination. You're not just imagining that they're going harder against the TVLs than they are against the other sets out west. They were blamed for killing a cop, okay, back like in the early 2000s. That guy that I was talking about in that video. If you haven't seen that video, it doesn't have that many views. It's got like 3,000 some views, but it's about like why the police and the traveling Vicelords really. It talks about how, it started with the police going so hard against the TVLs, like the incident that led to that. They've been targeted in a lot of cases. So anyways, the federal probe revealed that the Wicked Town gang members engaged in numerous acts of violence, including Arrington's 2 murders and at least 17 others, as well as numerous attempted murders, armed robberies, and assaults. They regularly promoted their violent enterprise on social media, where they taunted rivals and boasted about murders and other acts of violence. So the gang operated primarily in Chicago's Austin neighborhood, where members maintained trap houses to store firearms and illegal narcotics, including cocaine and heroin. And Austin is not per capita the most violent neighborhood on the west side. It typically has the highest number of murders, but it's a big neighborhood. Garfield Park has a lot fewer residents, and per capita, that neighborhood typically has a higher number of murders and shootings. But Austin, as a total number, typically leads the city in murders and shootings. So the sentence was announced by the acting United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois. So if you don't remember how this case first broke, it started back in November 2021. They charged 13 people. They said on a Monday back in on November 1st, 2021, in a federal racketeering indictment in which they are accused of numerous murders and attacks, the U.S. Attorney's Office announced a grand jury indictment against the leaders, members, and associates of the Wicked Town faction of the traveling Vicelords street gang. So it was interesting they didn't name everybody as a member, just an associate. So the prosecutor said members of the gang murdered rivals and used violence to protect this drug dealing operation. Accused, like I said, of 19 murders, 19 attempted murders, and numerous armed robberies and assaults. Police said the gang used threats and intimidation to keep victims and witnesses from cooperating with law enforcement. Members of the gang also regularly promoted their enterprise on social media. So the indictment accused some of the defendants of personally murdering people to maintain and increase their rank in the gang. Some of the murders go back more than 20 years. So take note, everybody that thinks that they've gotten away with it, because they came back 20 years later. So Arrington is accused of murdering Ronald Boyd on August 22nd of 2020. I'm sorry, Arrington got sentenced, I think, a few days ago. Another member was accused of murdering a guy named Sammy Hodges on March 10th of 2019. 3 guys were accused of murdering a guy named Donald Holmes Jr. and Diane Taylor on January 31st, 2018. I already dropped a video about that. 3 of the other members, plus this guy Arrington, are accused of murdering a guy named Uriah Hughes on January 11th of 2018. Then they had 3 other members who were accused of murdering a guy named Keshawn Mobley on December 23rd, 2017. So all these murders that, were unsolved at the time, anybody that was wondering who did this is who was accused of doing it, the TVLs from Wicketown. And they were also accused of murdering a guy named Alfred Stovall on April 28th of 2017. They were accused of murdering a guy named Derek Jones and Stephen Tucker on December 23rd, 2016. They were accused of killing a guy named Martell Howard on January 21st, 2016. Dan Rance on September 2nd, 2015. James Duthard, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, on August 23rd, 2015. They're accused of killing a guy named Malcolm Willie on July 15th, 2015. A guy named Charlie Weathers on May 23rd, 2015. Abraham Cooper on December 23rd, 2014. Ron Hernandez on December 21st, 2014. John Johnson on June 15th, 2003. So you see how far back this is going now. Ernest Moore on December 23rd, 2002. And Lamont Ware on July 22nd of 2000. So the indictment also accused several defendants of federal gun and drug crimes, and racketeering conspiracy carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, but a life sentence is possible for some of the underlying charges like murder. And some defendants could even be sentenced to the death penalty if convicted of certain murders charged in the indictment. So he can be released when he's in his 80s, and he's only in his early 30s. So, I don't know, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. The Wicketown TVLs, are they done? Is this the end for that set? I don't know. But the younger generations are always coming up with new sets anyways. Like the sets and the names, you hear so-and-so gang or so-and-so ville or city every year. The name is changing practically. Younger guys come up that have a dead homie and they name the hood after him, and then they start getting on their own thing. So, yeah, in the end, crime didn't pay for these guys, man, because 50 years, that's basically getting smoked. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. There's your boy Wednesday Report. I'm out.